15 minutes and then they set it back up.
How these first couple days gone?
It's gone good. It's been great to have, obviously, been pretty exciting to have Pavel around and some new guest coaches. It's been great. Kids have been great. It's great to see. Obviously, we're able to get in all of our draft picks from 24. So last few years, we've had pretty much everybody in here. Was it day 3 today? Kids are enjoying it. You know, some kids are a little rusty, haven't been on the ice that much, dealing with, you know, especially the new guys with Nygaard, with the combine, the draft. It's been a lot for them.
Are you able to speak more about the guest coaches? Is this the female coaches program or?
No, it's just, you know, just kind of obviously we have a new female skating coach, Rebecca Babb, who is, you know, just started working with us in pretty much May and June. So she's going to be working with Blazer and Kev. And then we just decided, you know, bring in some females. I mean, the world's changing. We have a female league. I think it's great. And so the guest coaches have been, and they've been great. I don't know if you guys have got to actually meet them, but super fun, super energetic. You know, Kaylee's the taller one. Kelly's the shorter one, and Mackenzie's in the middle. That's how I keep track of them. But they've been super nice, they've really enjoyed it. They all bring kind of something differently. I would say Kaylee's, you know, the idea, I guess, was to bring in someone from kind of each department. So Mackenzie, she works with goalies. So she can work with Phil. She's going to Mankato State as a coach. Kelly, the shorter one, she does a lot of skill work through the Ontario area. Obviously went to college at Mercyhurst, UNH. So, and then Kaylee went to Harvard, and now she does her own skills level training in Ontario.
How helpful can it be for you to kind of bring in some new voices when you're running a camp like this?
Yeah, you kind of sit back and just let them. You know, I think for me, I think it's a collaborative effort. I guess would be. You know, they have different ideas. You know, you kind of ask them like, you know, what do you guys do? What kind of drills do you focus on? I was talking with Kelly, and she was asking me, you know, when you go to games to watch players, do you tell them you're coming? I go, well, not really. Sometimes it's 50-50. You know, it's more of a personality based sometimes. Some kids perform sometimes better when you're there, and sometimes they get a little clammed up when they know you're coming. So just bouncing ideas off each other. But also we have Greg Walters is here. He's the new head coach of Windsor Spitfires, and obviously Chris Lazary with Saginaw, who just won the Mem Cup. So, you know, good variety, good hockey minds. It's been fun.
Dan, when you came into the league, did they have a development camp or?
I went to Traverse City with Chicago in '97. I think we did have a development camp, if I remember correctly. But I just remember it was basically we just drove up from Chicago to Traverse City and played in that prospects tournament.
Did you tell them, look, you're not going to make the NHL roster?
I don't really say that.
But you know what I mean? It's like, look, just do your best.
Well, we talked, you know, with these kids. You know, it's more of an educational week than an evaluation. I mean, you know, I was talking to Nygaard, and he's having trouble with his skates and fall down. I'm like, listen, man, we're not here judging that, whether you can stand up or not. We've seen your body of work, and Drapes has looked at them all year, and our scouting staff. So, you know, the most important is that these guys take all the information they can. We have, you know, Lisa McDowell is amazing. I don't know if you guys have met her, but she's unbelievable. She's our nutritionist, and these guys love the nutritional seminars, sleep seminars. They take a lot of good intel out of that. So that's really what the week is. You know, we did some fun on Monday, went to Smash Paddle, so the guys really like that. But it's really, I try to tell them, but I don't think they believe me. You know, when we say we're not evaluating, you know, of course we test and stuff, but it's more of like, you know, we get the results. We met with a few kids today. We'll meet with them all day at the hotel. And basically just be like, you know, here's what you got to work on. Here's what you're good at. Let's focus on that. Let's have a good summer. Give them some, you know, feedback. Talk to their trainers and go from there.
And what is coming now with, like, you guys coming now with a much higher base standard? Like, I can imagine 5-6 years ago, if you talked about a sleep study, you might be introducing something brand new to a guy. And it seems like guys now, when they're 16, 17, 18 now, they're getting more of those tools themselves. Like, is there more of a base level of some of that stuff when guys are coming in that it's not brand new to them?
Yep, they're certainly more educated. Certainly more aware of the things that they need now. Of course, it doesn't apply across the board. Some a little more informed than others. Some a little more green than others. But overall, the intel that they get, sure, they might be a little bit versed in it, but there's not enough that they can't really grow from, learn from. There's things that I learned from Lisa just by, popping in. I wouldn't even tell the kids I have terrible sleep habits. I eat pretty good, but, I'm not an athlete anymore. These guys it's the real deal. So it's great. I mean, I really enjoy it. And, this doesn't work without great people around you that help out, from skills, the goaltending, to Lisa, Chef Bill. I can go right down the whole roster. Todd Beam, everybody, all you guys, it's so important. Everybody is so important to have around.
Dan, what are your observations about Rizlovsky?
Oh, Jacob, yeah. Well, obviously he's been here for about a week, I think, just kind of, getting to know everybody. He came in. I really like him. I don't know if you guys got to talk to him. Quiet, strong little guy. I was friends with someone who was coaching him in Czech, so he kind of reached out, and he thought it was a great signing for us. So, I haven't seen him play like live in a game, but just watching him skate, handle the puck, move it. He's a driven young kid. So we'll see how it goes. Going from the Czech League to, let's just say, Grand Rapids, there's a bit of an adjustment. His kids are young. So, but I think he's got a good, strong base. So we'll see.
What do you think of Nate Danielson's season, and where have you seen growth from when you first met him this time last year to now?
Have you guys talked to Nate yet? A little more open, a little more. You notice that? A little bit. We'll get to know you guys. But Nate had a tremendous season. Obviously, he got moved to Portland. Mike Johnston can't say enough good things about Nate. He's tested probably number one. So when you have all those components in play, Nate's a driven, serious kid. I know we talked about this last year, but he's starting to come out of his shell. But he works hard. He looks good. Not much to say. Nate's a really good player.
Dan, you discussed Sandon Pelika's season last year. Just what are the advantages of having him stay in Sweden for another year as opposed to being here, like in Grand Rapids, and getting acclimated to North America?
Yep. Well, Axe had obviously they won the league, lost in the World Championships. Axe was probably one of Sweden's most important players on defense. But it's hard for, a defenseman to play. He's going to play quite a bit in Skellefteå. They're going to have a good team. He's going to run the power play. He's going to play quite a bit with the puck. But Axe is a real smart player. You guys have all seen it. Moves well. We just don't see the harm in it. There's no sense rushing him. We got pretty good D in Grand Rapids. We've got a couple of D graduating, but we have some good players, young players still down there. Now, not to say that Axe couldn't come over and play in Grand Rapids, no problem, but Skellefteå is a really good development place as well. It's a good league. It's a good city, obviously well run. And, Axe will be back in Ottawa at the World Juniors again. I'm sure you guys will watch. Yeah, he's a really talented player.
Well, Augustine, what kind of growth have you seen in him coming off?
Yeah.
It's a really amazing spring for him, especially.
Yeah. I got to watch Trey play quite a bit at State. Obviously, Phil keeps close tabs on Trey. But when I watch Trey, he just gives me a lot of confidence. And I'm not even on his team. He's got a great demeanor about him. He's got a nice, calm, cool demeanor, but competitive. That fire burns inside him. I know I speak with Nighty quite a bit over at Michigan State. Who doesn't love having Trey, behind you? Obviously, tremendous season for him. I just think he's only going to grow. Obviously, going to the World Championships was a cool experience for him, getting to play against NHL caliber, level players. It's been a lot for him this year. So here we are, Dev Camp. We got the summer showcase in Plymouth here in late July. Then then it's a go at Michigan State and see if they can, win that Big Ten again and move along.
I think you have quite a few locals. Chris Draper was saying at the draft, you need to work.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'll have to talk with Drapes later. We have some, not many. He's fibbing.
Just one more quick thought with Pavel. Did you know he was going to be here, or was
Yeah.
that? Did you plan that, or was it kind of a surprise to you?
Oh, how it unfolded, kind of funny. I'll piggyback off Drapes. Drapes was just talking to Pav, and Pav was mentioning, hey, Dev Camp, and Drapes was like, why, you want to go? He's like, yeah, I want to go. And he's like, really? He's like, okay. So then we just, we WhatsApp. That's how you talk with anyone pretty much in Europe. And And, Pav was in Vegas for the draft, and he was doing a little bit. I don't know if you guys know Dan Milstein, but he's an agent, deals with a lot of Russian hockey players. So, and then when Pav obviously wanted to come to dev camp, I go, Pav, well, you want to be on the ice? He's like, okay, you get me skates. Then I go, But Pav's super funny. I mean, we're in day 2 of actual on ice, so he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable talking with the guys, and he's like, Dan, don't make this about me, but we're trying to build some drills around what Pav was really good at, so if you're watching, it's he's a little thief on the ice, and just his mind when he talks. So obviously the young kids are thrilled, to say the least. I mean, I'm thrilled. So it's been great. I mean, Pav is such an amazing player, amazing talent, and he's going to the Hall of Fame in November. It's pretty amazing.
To have someone of that caliber, though, just around young developmental minds like you have on the ice right now, what does that do for? I mean, of course, the awe factor.
Yeah.
Whenever you're learning from one of the best to ever do it.
If they learn just one thing, I mean, it's better than nothing. And I know that they've already learned at least 4 small little things that they didn't know to think about on the ice. Now, as Pav tries to tell me, he goes, Dan, how do I get what's in my mind? How do I deliver the message to them? I go, well, I don't know. That's why some of the greatest players have a hard time, whether it be coaching or, just they don't, I don't know how. But I'm trying to, he taught me things when I was playing with him. I was like, damn, man, that's smart. I got to think of that. But when you get into game action, obviously it's a little bit different, happens so fast. Everyone's so competitive. It depends on the moment. But I know he said a few things out there that some of the younger players, whether it be a winger, even the defensemen, as Pav was a forward, as you know, the defensemen are starting thinking, damn, I can't imagine someone thinking about that going into play a defenseman. And Pav was like, I was a hunter. I was a quiet hunter. That's how he related to him.
These guys aren't here this week, but how gratifying was it to see the roles Casper and Mazer played for Grand Rapids in those playoffs?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, if we want to talk about them individually, Mays gets hurt right away. God, he looked good, disappointing. Took a little while to come back. Casper, he would even say it was a struggle to adapt from preseason to the early goings. But you know what? Dan Watson and those guys in Grand Rapids did a tremendous job in believing in them, keep sending them over. They're going to grow. They kept growing. And by the end of the year, I mean, I'm sure you guys watched. Some of you for sure did. They were our best players in the most pivotal games.
What was it like working with Dan this year? Obviously, you guys had the work, but he goes from Toledo and the
Yeah.
ECHL. It's more of your job is kind of to win, and then the AHL is kind of more of that weird balance of winning games and developing guys. What was it like working with Dan through his first year in the AHL?
It was great. He did a tremendous job. He was excellent. From, Brian Lashoff obviously worked with the D. Then Steph was like the fourth. So they were all new. Like, I don't even think they knew each other until, Waddy would know Lash, I guess. But in terms of working together, they had great attitudes. It was a good environment. Egos were checked at the door, and they believed in what they believed in. I mean, I was in Grand Rapids quite a bit from the start of the year. I'm sure, Max, Grand Rapids, we weren't exactly lighting it up in November, December. We were kind of like 5th in the division, kind of like, but everyone was kind of not great. And then all of a sudden, the team just bought into the system. Guys started to grow confidently. And next thing you know, I think we went on an 18-game run. And, all of a sudden, we're ahead of Texas and we're battling. But Waddy did a great job. He stood the course in terms of we laid out our development plan, and he just believed in it, and that's what he said in his interview, and that's what he followed through in. And say what you will, but it was a great success year for our young players and how they developed, from Albert, Simon, William, Ante, Marco, Lombardi, Costa. I mean, there's 10 or 11 guys there that played meaningful roles, so it was a super fun year. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
See
you,
ya.
man.